Well, we now know why the current Lord hates Raizel so much, and it's pretty much a combination of jealousy and some serious daddy issues. What is up, y'all? It's your man, Dad Dude, bringing you guys another video. I'm giving out subscriptions down below, so if you like Noblesse, I review every episode, and I talk about other anime too. So go hit that button. Raizel and the gang have invaded Lukedonia. This episode didn't really progress the story as much as I was hoping. I really was hoping that Raizel and the current Lord would at least meet in this episode, but I can't complain too much because we did get to see more of the inner workings of Lukedonia and how the current Lord interacts with the nobles. We don't know much about how her father ruled, but the current Lord really seems to be more authoritarian. If she keeps trying to rule with an iron fist, I could really see an outright revolt happening. Like, Gejutel is beloved by pretty much everyone, and she is sentencing him to what is basically death. So with that, and Raizel now coming in and maybe offering a different option for who's in power, I could really see her, whatever loyalty she has, starting to erode. Now, I don't believe that Raizel would want to be Lord, like, not at all. He is enjoying his life amongst the humans and at the school and all that shit. He's content with where his life is. But I can see Raizel coming along and having some of the nobles come to his side and maybe putting Gejutel in power if they do in fact overthrow the current Lord. Like I said, Gejutel is loved by everyone, and he has to be one of the wisest nobles living given his age. So it would seem that he will be like the natural selection for the next Lord if they do indeed overthrow the current Lord. It is pretty understandable though why the current Lord hates Raizel so much. I'd be pretty miffed too if my father, the previous Lord, offered a position I had been training for God knows how long to this guy who's never around, doesn't talk much, and never really interacts with the rest of the nobles. Yeah, that pissed me off too. And we still don't know what role Raizel might have played in the previous Lord being put to permanent sleep or whatever they call it. We don't know what role he played in that. Now, we assume that Raizel was innocent in any wrongdoing, but we don't know. Who else was in tears when we were shown M21, Tao, and Takia freaking out when the plane was going down? It was such a quick scene, but I found it incredibly funny because, yeah, we knew as viewers that Frankenstein had intentionally crashed the plane, but when we find out that they were stowing away on the plane, we then have to think, well, wait, what were they doing when the plane crashed? If Frankenstein didn't know they were there, that means they probably didn't know that Frankenstein was intentionally crashing the plane, and then we get to see them freaking out, hidden away in the plane somewhere, not knowing what the hell is going on. It was such a quick scene. It was over so quickly. It was just like a few seconds long, but it was really well executed comedy because there were so many things that came together into that joke that the setup for the joke was what made it so funny. Because, like, again, they didn't know that Frankenstein was crashing the plane. Frankenstein didn't know they were there. And we as the viewer, as soon as we found out they were there, we immediately were like, well, shit, they must have been freaking out. And they were, as anybody would if you were on a plane that was going down and you didn't know it was intentional. Like, yeah, so I enjoyed that scene a lot. We haven't gotten as much comedy in these past few episodes, and it's just a reminder how funny this show can be at times. Also, are Takio, Tao, and M21 now as powerful as your low-ranked nobles? Now, they obviously can't take on a clan leader, but if they can take on the rank and file nobles, that does bode well for how useful they can be in the future. Because I was actually worried about what role they may play in the story going forward if they're not able to fight anybody, at least from the noble on the noble side. Yeah, they can probably fight against the Union, and they still haven't really got around to addressing the Union much in this story. But as far as the nobles, yeah, if they're not able to fight anyone, their usefulness kind of goes down the toilet. But if they can at least like pose a threat to the low-ranked nobles, that allows them to stay present in the story and stay useful and stay around and not be written out. And so I like that. I like that they have that, at least that little bit of power up to stay relevant. Yo, man, Sarah is not here for Gejutel being put to sleep. And you really can't blame her. The dude raised her. He's basically like a father or a grandfather to her, however you want to put it. But if she has already gone as far as to break out of her cell, what is she then going to do next? Is she going to go try to break Gejutel out of his cell? If she does that, I don't think that Gejutel would go with her. Given how Gejutel likes to live his life honorably and all that kind of stuff, and he thinks he is deserving of the punishment he's receiving, I don't think he would then allow Sarah to break him out of his cell. I think he would probably actually urge her to go back to her cell and await her own punishment instead of going with her. So will she just accept that? Because now that she's already drawn her soul weapon and shown that she's willing to fight back to save Gejutel, I don't think that she's just going to accept him being put to sleep. So what exactly is going to happen there? Is she going to save him against his will? How powerful is Gejutel still? Would he be able to resist that? You know, there's some questions that obviously come up from that now that she is broken out of herself. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually really hoping that the hatred the current Lord has for Raizel runs so deep that there is no reconciliation between them. Now, I'm not saying that I need a resolution from their problems like via a fight. No, I could be down for some political drama. Maybe Raizel comes in and he starts convincing other nobles to start end their support for the current lord and come to his side, or to support Gejutel, however that happens. It doesn't have to necessarily be a fight. I can totally get behind some political drama and political intrigue if that is indeed what we get. Maybe you have Raizel and the current lord all in the chamber with all the high-ranking nobles, and they literally just argue it out. That would actually be fun to watch. It would teach us a lot more on how the noble society works and the hierarchy and all that kind of stuff, like what role do the clan leaders play in relation to the lord, and how do they interact with the lord and all that kind of stuff. Since a lot of the new clan leaders are like really young, do they then find their own voice in dissenting from the lord? All that kind of stuff. So it doesn't have to be a fight. I could really enjoy something other than that gives us like some really good dialogue. But no matter what happens, I just don't want the Raizel to come in and the current lord to have like a hug and kiss it out and they just make up and everything's like good now. No, she really seems to hate him, and I hope it stays that way. I think it's better for the story if it stays that way. But what do you guys want to see? Would you like to see them kiss and make up, or would you rather have the current lord continue to hate Raizel's guts? Alright guys, that's all I have for you on this one. If you like this video, go hit that thumbs up, and if you are so inclined, subscribe and share. It will help me out a lot. Also, if you didn't like the video, let me know in the comments. We can talk about it. I respond to almost everything. I'll see you guys in the next one.